Hey, what's going on, everybody? Justin here, and in this video I want to go over some of my favorite nature-themed book recommendations. I originally planned on doing this sort of like with the Natureathon, since I did kind of a medieval history book recommendation video for the Medieval-thon. But I decided to, start the Natureathon like a week late because basically I'm dumb and didn't look at the dates. And then, I kept putting this video off, and by the time this is going to get uploaded, the Natureathon will probably be over. But you don't have to read nature writing just during the Natureathon, so I still think the video will be good to find out some cool nature and will kind of inspired books. And also tell me what you think about the new, or I guess the new setup, the new bookshelf, I guess. This is like all my plant and animal and nature and field guides and outdoor living type books, I guess. Built this one about a month ago, and this is like in the entryway, so it is definitely a different locale for my videos than pretty much every other video I've done in the kind of like library room. So tell me what you think. Tell me if you want to see more videos kind of like with this background, I guess. Is what I'm getting at. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So first off, let's go with some Dinosaurs. The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs: A New History of a Lost World by Steve Brusatte is probably my favorite book I've ever read on the dinosaurs. It goes into quite a bit of detail, but it's not so comprehensive that you get bogged down with like just tons of technical stuff. There's just enough technicality, sciencey stuff to make you feel like you're like learning a lot. But it covers just a wide breadth of everything dinosaur related, not just the big names like Tyrannosaurus and the Cretaceous period. Covers the entire kind of span of the dinosaur era. So I think that's really cool. Definitely my favorite book on the dinosaurs. And as the Washington Post puts, masterpiece. I definitely think this will be kind of like a go-to standard work in dinosaur literature. Is that a thing? Dinosaur literature in the coming years. Before I forget, let's put up I think it was my favorite nature book of 2019. I read it on NetGalley, and it's Wild at Heart by Alice Outwater. I just think this was just an absolutely fantastic work. It's all about kind of the relationship people and civilization have had with nature in different facets, mostly focusing on like kind of the American kind of story and context, with some European like context as well. But what she does is she takes kind of like a facet of existence, like, I don't know, for example, like medicine, and kind of like our push-pull relationship with nature, in whatever category that we're talking about. You learn quite a bit. There's a little bit of anecdotal memoir-ish stuff in there as well. Not like a ton, so it's definitely not like a memoir per se. But yeah, you definitely learn about like a ton of really just bad stuff that has gone on in regards to just kind of like wildlife and nature in general. Though there is definitely some inspiration of hope stuff at the end, which I found really refreshing. Definitely kind of wish there is a lot kind of going on, as Daisy is right there. You can probably hear it in the background, but she's like, "What are you doing, Dad? You're in a different spot." So she's gonna try and be bad and whatever. But anyways, like the last, I think 2 or 3 chapters was dealing with things like conservation efforts that have actually been really successful, and things have been turning around in different areas. What, you don't like people conservation efforts doing well, Daisy? They should, huh? No, you can't see her obviously, but she's staring at me like, what the heck? I don't know. I think she wants me to take her for a walk or something. But anyways, let's move on. All right, next up we have, if you really enjoy like marine ecosystems, marine wildlife, Paul Greenberg has 2 books. This one is For Fish: The Future of the Last Wild Seafood, and he also has American Catch, which deals with American Catch deals with oysters, Louisiana or Gulf of Mexico shrimp, and also Atlantic salmon. And this one deals with cod, bass, salmon, and tuna. What he does do is a deep dive into each of these like fish and kind of the sustainability or kind of their like history that people have done fishing them over the years. And what I find interesting about Paul Greenberg is he's really honest when he realizes there's not necessarily a good answer sometimes, whether that's with like fish farming, like big like factory production of fish, whatnot, or looking at wild catches and stuff. Like, what is the right balance between them, between providing like healthy and affordable kind of like protein for the world's population, as opposed to like collapsing fisheries and stuff. But he does do deep dives into each of these different and unique fisheries and kind of the different problems with each one. Found it really interesting, and definitely give that a shot, or one of those two books a shot, if you're into reading about, fishing management, I guess. Let's see, what else do we have? Do we have any more on this one? I gotta remember where everything is. This was my favorite one from 2018. It's A Naturalist Goes Fishing by James McClintock. And James McClintock is kind of an Arctic researcher, but he's also an avid fisherman. And this was just, I've never read like a fishing book, like a fishing buddy book. I think there's like a genre about fishing stories and stuff. But anyways, this was like a terrific blend. I didn't really know what I was getting into, but I think it was like $2 on Book Outlet. And I was like, I'll just give it a shot. It's just a great blend of fishing stories mixed with science and conservation, kind of all together. I thought it was really good. You kind of learn like the life cycle and the history and the science of each of these. I think he does like 10 or a dozen different fish in different locales around the world. Kind of goes into like their ecology, why they're important and stuff, and also like actual fishing stories of him like going out catching them and doing like research on them and things like that. I just found it just really great. I don't know. It was definitely my favorite book of 2018. I'm really glad I read it. Like I said, I wasn't quite sure what I was getting into with like a fishing book, but definitely read that if that sounds interesting to you. All right, for an author that many people really enjoy and that I enjoy as well is Cy Montgomery. This book right here is The Soul of an Octopus. I also have Tamed and Untamed, which was co-authored by Elizabeth Thomas. And she is just a prolific kind of nature and animal author. Really well done. I think people that really enjoy kind of like the author being a part of kind of like the science and the research and stuff will really enjoy these types of books. Soul of Octopus is probably her most famous work, and it's kind of dealing with the newly kind of found aspect of a lot of like the cephalopods, including octopi, having actually I think it's actually octopuses. I think if I remember reading one between this one and like Other Minds is another book about octopus as well. Anyways, this is probably her most famous work, dealing with kind of like the consciousnesses of the cephalopods and things like that. This actually wasn't my particularly favorite book by Cy Montgomery. That one would have to go to How to Be a Good Creature, a Memoir on 13 Animals. Talked about this book quite a bit in some of my other videos, but that's kind of like a memoir where she takes little vignettes from about 13 animals and kind of living the stories of the encounters she had with them and how she like kind of grew from them, that encounter, or what she like took away and learned from that particular animal. But anyways, really great animal writing, highly recommended. And then I think there was one more. Okay, for journalism, here we go. And for journalism, if you like nature journalism, there's also like for example, The Orchid Thief. I gotta actually read The Feather Thief, which is a totally different book. But anyways, like kind of in the vein of The Orchid Thief by Susan Orlean. I like The Dragon Behind the Glass, this true story of power, obsession, and the world's most coveted fish by Emily Voigt. And what this book is about is Emily Voigt's journey to like Southeast Asia and learning all about the arowana fish, which is like a really expensive fish. I mean, like in the tens and 20s and $30,000 for like one animal, and kind of the whole black market underground dealings that kind of go on with that fish. I mean, there are sometimes, for example, in China and stuff, that people have been like murdered, like pet store owners that have like had this fish because they were so valuable, stuff like that, and kind of all the lengths people go around to acquire them, and she kind of tries to go like find a wild one, and it's actually a lot harder than she expected, but it's just really fun, interesting journalism. I highly recommend it if you're kind of like into that kind of vague. It's not really true crime per se, but I mean it's got like that journalistic like beat vibe to it. I really enjoyed it, and I would recommend that if that's something you enjoy. So there are just some of my favorite nature books that I've read over the past couple years. Let me know what you guys think about any of them. If you've read any of the authors, leave a comment down below. And if you have good nature book recommendations, that just leave some comments down below as well, leaving like what your favorite nature, animal, plant type books have been that you've ever read. I'm always on the lookout for more recommendations. I found quite a few so far based on you guys, so thank you so much for that. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. More plugs. Let's see, my Etsy shop, Twitter, Instagram, everything like that. And also leave a comment if you want me to do some more videos kind of with this background, with these shells, I guess. I know I'm probably gonna hate it because I can like tell I'm already like really close to the camera, like the way I have to have it, just like with the setup and stuff. So yeah, I probably will hate it, but yeah, we'll see. But anyways, thanks for watching, and whether you're reading nature books or not, always remember, read victoriously.